I'm Michael Bussee. I'm one of the original co-founders of Exodus International. I left the program in 1979 and have since reconciled my spirituality and my sexuality. Now I'm a vocal critic of reparative therapy programs and of Exodus International. There are a number of things that led me to lose faith in Exodus and the ex-gay path, but a big part of it was seeing that not only were our clients not changing, but the leaders weren't changing. My fellow leaders in the program weren't all that they said they were. I remember there was one particular trip, another leader of Exodus and I were asked to give our testimonies in Philadelphia. I'd never been back east or had an opportunity to see Philadelphia or the East Coast. And we gave our usual speech about how God had changed us and how God was transforming us. And that night after the workshop, the man that I was traveling with, the ex-gay man that I was traveling with, suggested that we go to New York City. I'd never been to New York before. I thought that'd be great. He said, well, maybe we could take in a Broadway show, something ex-gays do, I guess. So we took a train and got all the way into New York and came up in the middle of Times Square. And this was Times Square before they cleaned it up. Very seedy, lots of X-rated little theaters and bookstores. And I think Old Calcutta was playing. It was the only show that we could get tickets to, but we decided maybe that was a little too racy. So the man I was traveling with decided we should just go look at some of the bookstores. I was shocked, but he walked right into a triple X-rated bookstore and seemed to know exactly where he was going. Walked right back into the section where it had pornography of very young men. I would swear some of them must have been underage. And this was a guy that I looked up to. This was my mentor. This was somebody that I thought had really changed and had really experienced a transformation in his orientation. And he went right back to this stack of pornography and started looking through. And we didn't say a word to each other. It was very strange. It was just in absolute silence. He looked at the books, looked at the magazines. I kind of nervously thumbed at some other books and magazines and couldn't believe where we were. He chose 6 or 7 magazines and took them up to the front desk. I think I was looking at a copy of The Joy of Gay Sex. It had just come out. I'd never really experienced the joy of gay sex, so it was fascinating to look at. And he said, "Do you want me to buy that for you?" And I thought, what's happening here? I thought we were ex-gay. I thought you were ex-gay. But he bought the book, took it up very confidently to the lady at the checkout counter, bought the book, bought his magazines, they put them in a brown paper bag. And we drove back in silence to the train station and back home back to our place in Philadelphia. And he took the magazines and excused himself to the bathroom. I just remember laying there in the bed knowing what was happening and thinking, this isn't real. We're not changing. This was his way of telling me that he wasn't what he said he was. And it was the beginning, along with some of the other things, of the erosion of my faith in the whole ex-gay experience. I know for a fact, by going to other Exodus conferences and talking with other Exodus leaders, that there were very few of us, if any, who were completely celibate. And we were all still silently struggling with our own sexuality at the very same time we were promising change. And that lack of integrity, that psychological and spiritual split just got wider and wider and wider until it couldn't take it anymore. I remember that night though as being the night that my eyes were kind of open to the fact that I wasn't the only one struggling and the change wasn't really happening to any of us.